Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Tactical Armchair Review. Today we have one of my favorite rifles, the Sig 556 Patrol SWAT. We're going to be going over a lot of different things today about this gun, including the advantages and disadvantages of this type of weapon system. Let's just dive right into it. It takes all of your standard magazines, alright? This takes any 5.56 round. You pretty much can run in an AR for a carbon length system. All the standard magazines that are going to fit in all of your typical ARs are all going to fit in here. Before we handle the weapon too much, let's just do a quick safety check. And the weapon is clear. Now, we can go back into more details. It has a 16-inch button rifle barrel, pretty standard for these type of platforms. It has a standard A2 flash suppressor with a standard threading, so you can put in any of your suppressors on there or any of your other flash hiders for a standard AR. All fits on here. It's going to have the reduced length gas system for the SWAT Patrol. It's also going to have the reduced handguard length here. This handguard is fully free floated, and it comes off in two separate pieces very easily. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. It has the Swiss style folding stock, so it has the option of locking right here. There's a little locking mechanism, just a little piece of metal, and there's a little piece of plastic in the stock itself that just locks right in, and it folds, and as you can see on this side, just push the button and it folds out. Okay, pretty easy. It has the Sig style sights up here. You know, some people love them, some people don't. We can talk about those a little bit later too. And this gun retails for about $1,300. You can find them for more, you can find them for less. For this one, I bought this, I think, mid 2012. They were about 3 months old at the time when this model came out, and I picked it up. I think that's about when I got it, and I paid out the door, I think it was like $1,400. So I was looking at these Sig rifles for a long time. This is my first one I've owned, but it will not be my last, I guarantee you that. So let me talk about some of the disadvantages of this rifle quickly before we really go into anything else. One of the major disadvantages that people will talk about for this gun is going to be the weight. It comes in at 7.5 pounds unloaded. Okay, so that's right up there with an AK weight. AK is about 7 pounds unloaded for, you know, a standard like Wasser 10 variety AK-47 platform. Keep in mind, when you put the ammo into that equation, the AK-47 probably weighs more because of how lightweight the .223 round is. So realistically and practically speaking, when it's all loaded up, these guns are probably the same, in the same ballpark as an AK-47. So if you don't mind the weight of an AK-47, this weapon platform would be a great fit for you. Another huge disadvantage, in my opinion, for these weapons, pretty much any of the Sig rifles, is that there's not a lot of aftermarket parts, and the parts that are available are difficult to get. And what I mean by that is that there's really no, you know, like Glock store has all the parts for Glocks you could ever want. Well, there's not really anything like that for these SIGs. If you want replacement springs or parts, you pretty much have to call SIG, get some manufacturer replacement numbers, and then see if you can order from them to get like repair packs or anything like that. I haven't had to do that yet. I mean, it seems like such a hassle, but I eventually do need to get some replacement springs, so I'll keep you guys in the loop on how that process goes. But there's really nothing that's an easy way to ascertain these parts, so that's a disadvantage. Also, the aftermarket parts, like I was saying, for your front end, obviously all your rails and everything, your light mounts, those are all going to be standard for AR-15s. But for the parts that, you know, aren't standard, or like the pistol grip, you can't just throw a Magpul MOE on here. I mean, you can for the vert grips, obviously, because it's just a rail attachment. But for the the actual hand grips here, you can try to, and some people successfully do this, they grind out some of the plastic inside of the grip here, and the mechanism apparently works for them. I tried doing that with the Dremel tool, and I completely ruined a Magpul pistol grip, so I said screw it, and I went with a Manticore Arms pistol grip here. There's only two manufacturers to my knowledge that make it, and that's Hogue and Manticore Arms are the only two companies that currently, that I know of, create pistol grips, and this is the only one that did flat dark earth, so I had to go with this guy. One of the big disadvantages of these Manticore grips is that they're like a fiberglass filled, so they're very heavy compared to the stock one that was on here. The stock one also had a compartment inside for storage, like the Magpul MOEs. This one does not, as you see, just a little bolt hole there. And this thing weighs probably 20 times heavier than the standard one. I mean, this is a heavy grip. You pick this up and you go, well, that's a considerable amount of weight for a pistol grip. Why it's so heavy, I don't know, and I'm not really happy with that, but I am happy with the way it feels in your hand, because the stock pistol grip that comes on these rifles, in my opinion, is terrible. So pretty much throw that one in the trash right away and replace it with something, whether it be a Hogue or one of these Manticore Arms. And it's a big change of the way your finger goes in the trigger, and the way your fingers can manipulate the safeties is so much better with one of these aftermarket grips. That's pretty much the only reason why I changed it out. The color was just a plus. Another disadvantage, and this is really one of the last disadvantages for us, is that EOTech sights don't line up correctly with the stock sights on here. You can remove the front sight here. It can be driven out. There is just a little turn screw there. You can remove and drift this off. And the back one can be easily removed also with just a quick thumb screw. As you see right here, can be easily removed. So you can put different sights on there if you want. I didn't really want to. I didn't see the need. I really like the factory sights on here. You know, it's lined up perfectly. I mean, this is a tack driver, but the way it is with just iron sights, so I really didn't want to change them. But I threw an EOTech on here, a 553, and the sights don't co-witness properly, and the cheek well on this stock here is not tall enough to use that 553 properly, or any EOTech for that matter, because they're all at the same heights. And it's not an issue of rising, because they do make risers for those. It's too high. And it didn't work properly. Aim points work great on these, but the EOTechs, which are my favorite type of weapon sight, doesn't work properly on these, so that's why you don't see a red dot on this rifle right now. Those are pretty much the only disadvantages really to this gun. You know, a little bit higher price. Well, it's in the ballpark of a really good AR. No really aftermarket parts available for this weapon. EOTechs don't work, and the weight. Those are really your main disadvantages. Your advantages of this rifle is it has the gas piston system. Now I don't know if you want to say controversy with the gas piston system, but there's some people that are diehard direct impingement fans, and there's some people that are gas piston fans. They both work. They're both great systems in my opinion. I like a gas piston system more. It obviously has a lot more weight because it has a giant piston in here that's being pushed back by the gas, rather than just the gas flowing through a tube and driving your bolt carrier group back. So with that extra weight coming back, you get a lot more reliability, and it's going to give you a lot better tolerance for when you start to build up a lot of carbon debris or just fouling in general. It allows you to keep running the rifle, and dry for that matter. You know, a lot of guys like to run their ARs really wet. I do personally, but with these, I mean, you can neglect them if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but you can. and they'll still run flawlessly like an AK-47. I've shot about, probably I would say 4,000 rounds for this rifle, and I've never had any issue. And I've run a lot of steel-cased ammo through it, pretty much everything you can think of, from green tips to Wolf. So I've never had a single issue. You can change the gas setting on here. It's a 2-stage system, so if it becomes really fouled, you just simply turn that. But it's not that easy when you've been shooting about 1,000 rounds through. That thing will be blazing hot, and you're going to want to take either a tool or a round, and you just jam the round in there and twist it, because this thing will be pretty jammed up when it gets carbon fouled. But I've never even needed to do that to get the gun to run properly. It's always ran straight away. Another big advantage for me, I'm very familiar with the AR platforms. I have ARs, I like ARs, but this gun is a lot easier to take down and a lot easier to fully disassemble and clean than an AR platform. The handguards come off like a dream. They just pop right off. You just pull a pin here and the entire assembly comes flying out. I'll do a video later on a full disassembly and full detailed cleaning of this gun, because it's too much for one video to take it down and show you all that. But you can take my word for it, or you cannot. This gun is a lot easier to maintain than a standard AR platform. Another advantage for the price, you kind of expect it, but it has the free-floated handguards right there that's stock, so you don't need to worry about replacing those out. And another advantage, in my opinion, is the weight gives you a lot less recoil. This thing is like shooting a 22 on steroids, I'll say. But it's a dream. It's really a Cadillac of the 223 world. When you're shooting this thing, it's just unbelievable. I mean, the action is so smooth when it's sliding back. When you're shooting rounds, you wouldn't even believe it. The rounds get ejected like a mile over your shoulder. I mean, they go into outer space when the round gets ejected. That might be another negative. The rounds get ejected with so much force, actually, that they pretty much the cases always have dents in them. I don't think I've ever recovered a casing from this rifle that didn't have some sort of dent on it from being ejected out of this weapon so hard. That could be a good thing or a bad thing if you reload. Obviously, that's not a good thing, but I don't reload, and I like my brass to clear everything. I like to clear into the next county if I can, and this does it. So you don't have to worry about your brass, majestically floating out like an AR platform. They launch out of here. They're gone. So for me, that's an advantage, but if you're a reloader, that's definitely a disadvantage. So if you're a reloader, I don't know, maybe shoot some steel cased out. I shoot primarily steel cased out of this thing now, because why not? It's so cheap. I don't buy into any of the rumors of steel case ruins your guns. I've shot tens of thousands of steel case AR rounds, and I've never damaged a gun, so I'll keep shooting it. With the thing also about the weight, if you have any experience with an AK or heavier AR platform like this, you know that the weight, after a while, you forget about it. Once you start training with the gun and you start shooting it more often, it becomes second nature. You pick up the gun and it feels like nothing in your hands, just as you would with any other gun. You just got to build those muscles up. If you're generally just a weaker person, you have weaker upper body strength, it might not be the right gun for you. You might want to go with a much lighter AR rifle or something to build yourself up, because you can get fatigued with this gun holding it up for a long period of time. That's just something to take note. Like I said before, it has the folding stock, which for me, it's a huge deal. I love folding stocks. It allows you to throw it in your bug out bag, fold it up to, basically nothing, and put it in any bag for transport. Or if you're, running and gunning with this thing, you simply just fold it down, and you got your single point sling on here, and it's awesome. I mean, I love these folding stocks. They come in handy more than you think. But you can also replace this folding stock, and you can get this piece actually on the stock gets completely removed. You can drive these pins out, and you can put a new attachment point in here, and you can put Magpul stocks on here with a buffer tube. That is an option. They still will fold. They'll fold like this, but they won't lock in. So if you want to have, kind of like a hybrid where you could fold it for transport or for a bug out bag, but then have a fixed stock with a multiple adjustment length, you can do that. Those kits, I think you can buy those attachment points. Don't quote me on this, but last time I looked, I think it was around 70 bucks for one of those adapters. They could change. I don't know. But yeah, that being said, my overall thoughts on this rifle is great. This is one of my favorite 5.56 223 platforms. I would never get rid of this gun. Some people have problems with SIGs, so they say. I've never seen it before. Some people say that they're trash rifles. I always shoot a rifle before I judge it. I only can really tell you from my personal experience, and I can tell you that this rifle has been through some harsh conditions. It has shot some crappy ammunition, and it has never failed, not once, not even remotely. And I love it. There's not really much else I can say on it. I mean, let me give you a little what I have on this gun here. Some of you might be curious. I have the this is the Surefire 6PX on here. It has this is the Defender series, but it has the tactical screw here, so you can screw for permanent on, or you can push button for momentary. And I have the Magpul, the short grip on here, so you can get your thumb right on there, and it's like a dream. I mean, it's perfectly lined up for my hands. I have the Tango down standard rail covers there. I like the Tango down covers because they're very durable. You can take them to the cutting wheel, and when I do things like this, they hold up extremely well. And I really like the texture surface on top of these. They lock really securely onto the rail, and you don't have to worry about them going anywhere. This is a Daniel Defense offset mount. Standard, screw on here, 4 screws on there. Nothing really special. And just the Magpul, rail covers there, or whatever they are now. They're Ergo rail covers. I don't know who makes them. Oh, and I did need to. You see, I carved this out here with this Dremel. Just took a quick Dremel to it, so you could fold the stock up without any issue. That's something you need to worry about when you put some custom hand guards on there. Is that you need to have a little cutout notch right by the tab there, so that you can easily close the thing without worrying about it popping back open. You can see here also the safety. It's ambi safety. It's got it colored in there. Not much we really said about that. I said it takes all standard AR mags. It has an ambi, I'm sorry, not an ambi, but the mag braces on the right hand side, like an AR. The bolt release right here. Okay. So you need to manipulate it. You can either come under when you change a mag and release it like that, or you can just hit the bolt release on this side. It doesn't really matter. It's just like an AR in that sense, with bolt release and everything. But yeah, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. One of my favorite rifles, and I hope this review has helped somebody that's looking at these rifles. Don't be scared of picking up one of these SIGs just because they're a little heavy. They shoot like a dream, and they will keep performing for you. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. We got a lot more videos coming for you down the pipe, so keep watching. Thanks.